and let's have some fun. So many of you that are on this call and obviously are thinking about next year, and hopefully have got your business plans together for next year. You know, one of the biggest things that I have noticed over the many years, believe it or not, Chris, believe it or not, 28 years of coaching real estate agents. 28 years. Time flies when you're having fun. You know, one of the biggest things, people focus on the wrong thing when they're putting their business plan together. They focus on all the different things that they say they're going to do. And the fact of the matter is, most of them they're not going to do. And the reason that they're not going to do it is because they've got these deep-seated habits. You know, we all have these visions of grandeur, and then we fall back to doing what we've been doing. So I want to start off this call by just talking about the two levels of motivation for a moment, okay? And I'm going to explain this by telling you a little background. So I'm going to take you back to 1986. 1986 was an exciting year for me. So February of 1986, I married my beautiful wife, Annette, and we will be married 38 years next February, 7 wonderful children later, and 4 grandkids, okay? March of 1986, I turned 20 years old. So yes, I was actually 19 when I got married, okay? April of 1986, I got my real estate license. So married, turned 20, got a real estate license in 90 days. And I was working at this time as a waiter in a restaurant while going to college and just getting started in the real estate business, starting to, you know, in a new marriage relationship and just excited about life. I was making about $1,200 a month as a waiter at this time, working my rear end off, taking everybody's closing shifts that would be willing to give them to me so I could make that extra 20 bucks in tips. So I come in for a Sunday lunch, only to be told that Sunday dinner was my last shift. The restaurant was closing down. They were shutting down. Well, again, newly married, I was scared to death. Fortunately, I had already started the real estate business and I had 2 sales pending at that time. So that's how I got into real estate full time, okay? I wasn't willing to step out because I had this guarantee, not guarantee, when you're a waiter, it's never guaranteed, but relatively certain that I was going to make at least 1,200 bucks from waiting tables. So next thing you know, I'm full-time in the real estate business. So that's the first level of motivation I want to talk to you about. We didn't have a tremendous amount of bills at the time, but we had a house payment, we had a car payment, you know, we had some other, you know, utilities and stuff like that, normal stuff. And so I'm like, oh my God, I have got to make enough money to pay the bills and keep us afloat. So worried about, you know, what's going to motivate me to get out there and work hard and sell and do just survival. That's what's going to motivate me to work hard, just survival, because I didn't want them to turn off the electricity, okay? All of us can relate to the first level of motivation. You know, it's survival. But now I bet that 95% of you on this call, there may be some that are brand new to the business, but most of you on this call are well past that, okay? And now we've got to start looking at what is the second level of motivation. You know, whenever we're putting food on the table, whenever we're paying our bills, you know, whenever we're living a good life, but yet we want to do more. You know, one of the first things that we've got to do is we've got to become, and I'm going to use the word, we've got to become dissatisfied, but in a healthy manner. I don't mean beating ourselves up, but we got to become dissatisfied with where we are. Because let's accept it, guys, all of us are creatures of habit. And the longer that we've done this, the deeper seated those habits are. And now as we're looking forward to next year, we're talking about things that we're going to do differently. We're just going to, if you're not in touch with this second level of motivation, you're going to fall right back to what you were doing. It's kind of like going to the gym in January. I mean, you can't get to the equipment in January, but you wait till about March and there's plenty of space, okay? You know, because people are trying to make changes, but that motivation they have is not deep-seated enough for them to stick with it, and so they fall back into their old habits. And we as real estate agents do the same thing. And so what we've got to do is we've got to start focusing on how our life is going to change, because I want you guys to write this down. If I want something bad enough, I'm going to find a way to get it. Who believes that besides me? Now, the challenge is when you're already living a pretty good life, then how do you motivate yourself to want something bad enough to rock yourself out of your habits, out of your routine, to actually get a different result. So we're going to go through a little exercise today. Hopefully everybody's got a notepad and pen, because I'm going to ask you to write some things down. We're going to go through a little exercise. What we're going to do is we're going to reverse engineer our lives for 2024. We're going to reverse engineer it. And this is what I mean by that. I'm going to give you several examples to think about, but I want you to think, all right, what do I want different for next year? What do I want to be different next year? In other words, do I want to have a different house? Do I want to have a different car? Do I want to go on more vacations? Do I want to increase my investment properties? Excuse me. Do I want to start getting involved in other charities? You know, what do I want to do? And so I made up an imaginary person here, and I'm going to give you an example. I want you to write these numbers down, and then you take this example that I'm going to give you, and I want you to apply it to your own lives. All right, so the first thing I jotted down, let's just say my imaginary person here decides they would like to upgrade their home. They want to live in a nicer home, and right now they're paying a $2,000 a month mortgage, and they're going to take it to a $5,000 a month mortgage. So that's $3,000 a month that their expense is going to increase to move into this nicer home. So let's jot that down first. Secondly, they decide that they would like to finally own a luxury car. And I can remember my first luxury car. It was a beautiful white Mercedes E320. And it was on the showroom floor. And I'll never forget sitting in the driver's seat of that Mercedes as they opened up these big sliding glass windows, and I drove that Mercedes off of the showroom floor. I'm telling you, I felt like the king of the world at that moment. It was such a great feeling. So maybe you decide that you're going to go out and buy your first luxury car. But I'm not here to give you tax advice, but typically what I do with a luxury car is I normally lease it. As we all know, we can write it off. And a decent luxury car is going to lease at about $2,500 a month. So let's write that down, $2,500 a month. All right, here's the next thing I put on the list. Who would like to eat out a little more often? I bet you the ladies' hands go up first. Man, wouldn't it be great to say, you know, at the end of the day, man, you know, I'm tired. The last thing I want to do is prepare dinner. Let's go out to eat. Well, who's noticed here lately besides me that eating out bill has really gone up? I mean, it's been crazy how fast it's gone up. We hit some of the same restaurants, speaking of habits, you know, we hit some of the same restaurants, and I look at this bill and it's like, wow, like overnight, it cost me twice as much to eat here as it did before. All right, so when I talk about going out to eat, I'm not talking about hitting Taco Bell. No, I'm saying, let's go out to a nice restaurant. Man, I tell you what, for me, at the end of the day, to go to a nice restaurant, have a great meal, nice bottle of wine, oh man, I love that. I love it. All you got to do is take a look at me and you can tell I love that. All right. And so I said, you know what, let's say that it's $200. It's easy to spend $200 at a nice restaurant. And we're going to go out twice a week. So that's 8 times a month. So I figure that's $1,600 a month. Your expenses are going to increase, but then you get to go out for a nice dinner at least twice a week. The next thing I jotted down, all right, you know, we're not getting any younger. We're not getting any younger. And so how about working in a massage once a week? All right. So we're going to work in a massage once. There's this lady that we get a massage from here. Her name is Ronti. Oh my God. I think I would give away government secrets if she asked. You know, I mean, she can just bear down on you, and it is painful. But when you're done, feel like $1 million. So once a week, you go get a massage. I don't know, they vary in prices, but I figured say $150 for a massage. All right, so we're going to do that once a week. So that's $600. So write that down. That's something that's going to be different about your quality of life. You're going to get a nice massage once a week. You're going to keep a steady appointment with this masseuse, and it's going to cost you $600 a month. Then you're going to have a professional come in and clean your house from stem to stern twice a week. You're going to have them come in and clean your house. Now listen, add to this too. I mean, you know, one of the things that I love to do now that I'm doing better, you know, is I love beautiful flowers. And I've got my own gardener, you know, comes in and you know, mows the grass and does the flower beds and trims the trees. And, you know, and my knees and back, I used to love to do that, but my knees and back, when I plant flowers anymore, I pay for it for a week. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. So hiring out different services. So I put down here, have your house cleaned twice a week. Wonderful to walk in and smell that smell that comes along with the, cleaning products that smell so good. And it's that I just love a clean house. All right, so I put down, that's $2,000 twice a week. That's 8 times a month. That's $2,000. And by the way, if we're going to upgrade in the way we think, we got to upgrade in the way we look. Okay, because listen, when you look good, I mean, when you like today, I'm wearing a custom shirt, I'm wearing a custom suit, I'm wearing Ferragamo shoes and a matching Ferragamo belt, and I feel great. I feel great because when you feel like you look good, it makes you feel good. And when you feel good, you perform well, don't you? When you feel good, you perform well. And so I jotted down, what if we threw $1,000 a month into our clothing bill? $1,000 a month. All right, then you want to enjoy life. You want to enjoy the fruits of your labor. I said, let's put down something for entertainment. I mean, how cool would it be? And I was watching a little thing this morning as I was getting ready where they were interviewing Barry Gibbs, who is the lead singer for the Bee Gees. We've got a wonderful center called the Paycom Center, and we have some great bands that come through and put on some wonderful concerts. And when those bands come through your town or some, whatever venue it is you go to, wouldn't it be great not only get tickets to the concert, but get floor tickets? I mean, right up there by the stage. Or maybe it's, you're going to splurge on some season tickets for your favorite sports team. For those of you that follow me on Facebook, you always see me at the Dallas Cowboys games because I've got 4 club level seats of the Dallas Cowboys. I got 3 boys that love to go to the game. Wouldn't you know, I just finally gave up my tickets to the Thunder only for them to be good this year. So now we're getting them back. But anyway, we got OU and OSU. Maybe you like sports. Go out and get you some season tickets and start to enjoy life. Go to the concerts. This time of year, there's some great Christmas concerts. Wouldn't it be nice just to be able to go and not have to worry about the budget, but be able to make the money so that you can go and enjoy it? And not just you, but you could take some of your family along and really feel, in the Christmas spirit. So for that, I jotted down $1,000. Let's just say that averages up to $1,000 a month. Now, trust me, if you're going to get Dallas Cowboy tickets, we have to up that number, okay? Just saying. All right, then the next thing I jotted down, being fiscally responsible here. And listen, if we're going to make more money, we also need to up our savings and investments. We got to set some money back. We got to buy some real estate. We got to invest in our, SEP IRAs. We got to do the things we need to do to make sure that we take care of our future. And so I jotted down, this is going to be different for each of you, but I just put down the number $5,000. We're going to set aside $5,000 a month. We're going to invest it somewhere. All right. Then I put down just some miscellaneous purchases like jewelry or, different collectibles. Isn't it nice to have some money that you can buy some like frivolous thing? Like, I love artwork. I love art. Some of you have different things you like to collect. You can go out and you have the money to add to your collection, not have to worry about, not being able to do that. So I jotted down $2,000 just for frivolous expenses. And then finally, because I don't want to make this all about us, we also, listen, if we're making really good money, in my opinion, I'm going to preach to you for a second, so bear with me. But in my opinion, we have a responsibility to others, okay? When we're making good money, there are all sorts of charities out there that are really good charities that we can support. And of course, here we are less than a week away from Christmas, and we all know of families out there that are not going to have a great Christmas. And we've got the money to go out there and help them have a great Christmas. Wouldn't it be great to be able to pick out a few families every year for Thanksgiving or Christmas and just really help them to have a wonderful Christmas, especially those with kids? They say that the quickest way, just to go back to what I said a moment ago, when you feel good, you perform well. I hope you'll remember that because it's so true. When you feel good, you perform well. And the fastest way to feel good is to do something for others. If you find that you're a little bit down, depressed, whatever, hopefully none of us get there, but if you are, I tell you, go find somebody that you can help. Don't focus on yourself, focus on somebody else. If you don't know where to go, there are plenty of senior centers and nursing homes with elderly people in there that don't have any family. Nobody ever comes to see them. They'd love for somebody to come and just read to them. And you might think, really? Trust me on that one. Go do something to help somebody else and watch how that also has a positive effect on you as well. Quickest way to feel good is to do something to help somebody else. Okay. All right. So that's the end of my list of my make-believe guy here. Okay. So that number comes up to $20,700 a month. That's what I got, $20,700, or annually $248,400. All right. Now, I know that we have a lot of team leaders on this call. We have a lot of team members on this call. And so I said, all right, let's just kind of go with a national average, of whatever a team leader would get. Most of us are working on 50-50 splits or in that neighborhood. So I just threw out the number $5,000 per sale. For every sale, $5,000. Okay, so what we've got to do now that we've reverse engineered our life, this is what I'd like my life to look like. By the way, who kind of likes the life that I've described so far on this call? Anybody like any part of that? Okay. All right, good. So then let's reverse engineer it. Now that we put a dollar figure to it, let's determine what is it really going to take to make that happen? Well, if it's $5,000 per sale, then that comes out with just a hair of rounding, but let's just say that's 50 sales a year. At $5,000, that's 50 sales a year. 50 sales at $5,000 is $250,000 a year. For an extra $250,000 a year, you can increase your lifestyle to have this list that I just went over with you. Then I said, okay, let's break it down one more level. 52 weeks in a year. All we got to do is add one extra sale per week. One sale a week, and all that I just listed can be added to your lifestyle. How cool would that be? So now, guys, now that we've gone through this little exercise, I want you to go back to the two levels of motivation. There's survival. All of us have been through that, and we've survived because here we are. And then there is desire. And again, I'm going to preach to you again, okay? We can't feel guilty about wanting more, because you know what? If our founding fathers didn't want more, we would all still be speaking British. They wanted more. That's why they were willing to leave England and travel over here to this new world and risk their lives, of which over half of them lost their lives, to find this new world because they wanted more. This wonderful country that we're a part of is founded on wanting more. You guys get that? It's okay to want more. Just make sure that you're blessing others along the way. That's what I tell you. Make sure you're blessing others along the way. It's okay to want more. So don't feel guilty about that, but allow yourself to think about it, to visualize your life in this way. You can literally create that life, but many of you really don't know what kind of life, that you want to create. You haven't really spent the time thinking about it. And because you really don't know what kind of life you want to create, then the level of motivation, that second layer of motivation, is lacking. And so all that's going to happen then is the old habits are going to kick in and take over. Who besides me has ever started off the year just on fire, on fire, on fire? Next thing you know, I'm back to the old me. Okay? All of us can relate to that. So I'm going to recommend that you guys take this exercise and you go back and you plug in your own vision, your own life. Put it together. What do you want it to look like? Monetize it. Figure out how many deals you've got to do to make it happen. And then write it out and keep it in front of you and look at it and read it on a regular basis. Because all of us are way more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. Way more powerful than we give ourselves credit for. But the thing that's lacking is the motivation, the inspiration, the vision, the desire. Hey, when I lost my job as a waiter, that was really, really easy. I have no other source of income except real estate right now. I got to go out and make it. But now it's harder. So reverse engineer your life, guys. Spend some time over these next couple of weeks that we've got left in December and get yourself excited about what you can accomplish next year. Because if you want something bad enough, you're going to find a way to get it. What do you want? So any questions, anything before we wrap this up for today, guys?
Just adding a comment, taking everything that you've said and going through the exercise, we can write a prophecy letter about how great 2024 is, and you keep that letter in front of us as it has already happened, what it is that we want.
Absolutely, Ray. Write it as though it's already happened.
Yeah.
Great idea. Great idea. So listen, from Steve Powers, from Sydney Fullen, and from myself, Gordon Watson, we so appreciate you being a part of Watson Powers Coaching. We are privileged to have the honor of coaching and training each of you. We wish you a very, very Merry Christmas, a happy and prosperous new year, and we'll look forward to talking to you in the new year. Have a great day, guys.